So if you are running the fdisk command, then you need to be select the partition disk. Select the disk or give the disk name. Like I am going to create the partition of the second device. So I will have to mention here fdisk slash dev and sdv. If you want to create the partition for the third drive, then you will select the SDC. So right now I am selecting the SDB and hit enter. Once I will hit enter, so it will display something on the screen. What is displaying? I am going to minimize this one, so it would be better to understand. Right now I think it is good. Okay, so change will be remain in a memory only until you will not write them. Be carefully before using the write command. So I need to check here, created a new DOS or the MB disk label. Okay, I need to use the M because M is written here. Write the M. You can check here, write the M for the help. So I am putting M and I am getting some sub commands here or the some here like DOS ABC. I am generic, delete a partition, create a partition, and much more. Okay. And also you will find some like create a new empty GPT partition table. If you want to create the partition table, GPT, I have told you already why we need to use the GPT. So I will use the G, create a new label. So I am using the G here and creating the new label for this. It's depend on you. If you have the lots of the, so now you can check here, the new GPT disk label has been created. Now I am putting M and lots of the options are there. If you want to hybrid means MBR and both, then you can use the M. I am not using this. I am using only the GPT partition table. Okay, GPT partition table has been created. Now the next thing is add the new partition. You can use the L for the list down the partition type, how many partition types are there. P, print the partition table, how many partitions do you have. P command will use the partition table. And now I am going to use the P here to partition table. You can check here, there is a no partition table has been created, and this is the GPT identifier. It is known as a disk identifier. Got it? So right now I am going to create a new partition. For creating the new partition, I need to use the only N option and N and press enter. Now it is saying the partition number, because in a GPT you can check here, you can create the number 128. How many you can create? 128 partition. Default will be taken the 1. If you want to use the 2, 3, 4, 5, you can check here. For the example, you have the one hard disk previously, and on the first hard disk you have created the partition 2, 3, 4. Now the second hard disk you want to create the 5, 4 and 6. So it's depend on you. You can assign any number here, and default is a 1. Okay, so this is my first. I am not going to give any number, so I am going to hit the 1, either type the 1 or hit enter. Okay, so now it is saying how many your first size default is 2048. It is saving some data, some block size. So 2048 by default remain it. Now you need to assign the number, how many data you are assigning. Like you need to be give the plus sign, and here you need to be assign the size like 2 GB, 3 GB, 4 GB. So I am going to add the 2 GB here and hit enter. On here you can check here the created new partition type Linux file system. So should we use the Linux file system or there is another option? So for the file system type, you can check here, the L command will be used to assign the partition type. So this is the default partition type. I am not going to be change here, but if you want to be change here, then you will use the L and hit enter. It will display all the list, which list you want to be create here. There is a multiple options are there. You can and the one option is a Linux option. So there is a multiple options here. You need to be assigned the these things, but right now I am not going to use anything. If you want to use anything, then you can use the type this option like M and use the T. Where is gone change the partition type, you can use the T, and where you will assign the number, which number you want to be use, right? So I have created one partition. I want to check the partition list. So I need to use the P option. So on the P option, you have seen I have created the SDB1, and okay, I am going to create the second partition. New partition 2 is a default, and starting the range is this, and second one is I am using the again 2048 MB this time. So this is the MB, this means 2 GB, 2048. Okay, here it is. So again has been created the same thing, 1.9 GB partition, and 1.9 GB I have created already. Now I am going to create the new partition. Hit enter. Default I am going to be use the all the size. Okay. Now press the P to check how many partition has been created, SDB1, 2 and 3. So right now I am going to, again if you want to check the help, so M. So until you will not use the W, the data will not be written. Okay, that is the reason I need to use the W. Okay, so I am putting the W here. So the partition has been written. So how I can check here? I can use the some command previously, fdisk -L. It will list all the partition has been created. So these are the partition SDA1, 2 and 5 from the hard disk, first hard disk, and the disk level type is a DOS, but here the disk level type is GPT, and this is the disk identifier, and here it is the disk identifier for this. And right now in a third hard disk I don't have any partition. Okay, so if I want to be create the new partition in a hard disk, I can create right now. Okay, so now the question is this, I have created a partition. Can I use this partition now? The answer is no.